President Hinton, professors and staff, family and friends, and most of all, the College of Saint Benedict's class of 2015, it is a profound honor for me to stand before you today. On a beautiful day like this, not terribly long ago, I was sitting in your place. My heart in my throat, the future spread before me like a vast and unknown horizon. Today, I come to you as a new mother. My son just a few months old, and so I must begin by honoring the love that has made today possible, the love that was poured into you by all of those sitting behind you. Let us applaud them now. You see, the ferocity of that kind of love I only just discovered on the day that I gave birth. My mother placing her hand on my head, whispering in my ear, "You are brave, you are brave." When my son was born and I held him in my arms, he was alive, he was breathing, and I knew that I would give my life for him. That's what that kind of love does. It quiets the eye, it makes you fearless. After it was all over, my husband said to me, "I didn't think it was possible, but I love you more." I said, "Are you sure? Because, crazy things happen in labor, things come out of you, things I will not name here. Are you sure?" He said, "Yes. It is the most selfless thing I've ever seen you do." In that moment, I looked at my own mother and I saw her with new eyes. I saw how all of this time she had poured her body, her breath, her blood into me selflessly from the day I was born to the day my son was born. You see, my mother stayed at home to raise me. She set me free so that I could live the life that she was denied. I thought I wasn't supposed to be like her. But I've come to realize that all this time, the love of my mother was showing me the love that inspires true service. Love without thought of outcome. Love regardless of whether or not you are thanked. Ask your mothers if they brought you up in order to be thanked. Love so deep that you would give your life for it. Class of 2015, our generation of women, thanks to all of those mothers, we have a choice about who we give our lives to. So I have come here to ask you, to whom will you pour your body, your breath, and your blood? Because on the day my son was born, on the day I was in labor with my mother, there were people marching in city streets to protest violence against black and brown bodies, hands raised to the air, chanting, "I can't breathe." You see, when my son was only 8 weeks old, I had to bundle him up and take him to his first candlelight vigil, mourning the lives of 3 college students, all Muslim, gunned down, shot in the head in Chapel Hill by a man who despised religion. And I looked at my son and I imagined him your age one day, and I couldn't breathe. Because on this day, on the day of your graduation, the bodies of children are lying under the rubble of the earthquake in Nepal. Families are mourning their dead in the wake of another ISIS bombing. Justices of the Supreme Court are debating the future of millions based upon the gender of the person they love. And from Ferguson to Staten Island to Baltimore, the streets are on fire with people who are angry, people who are aching for Black lives to matter. You see, there are people who love you, who want to protect you from these fires. They may want to build walls around you to keep you safe. Staying within those walls is the temptation of privilege, the privilege that you will be afforded when you walk on the stage and receive your diploma, because you can turn that diploma into blinders so that you strive only for yourself, your own success, your own salary, your own status. And you know what? Society will not judge you for that. In fact, society will exalt you. And that is my greatest fear for you. For women of Saint Ben, I have sat among you and I have listened to your longing, and you are meant for more than a life of comfort. You are meant for a life of meaning. Staying within those walls may feel safe for a time, but that kind of loneliness breeds despair, and you will wake up one day with a ghost in your throat and wonder what you have done with your life, while all along the fires of the world are calling you. So, class of 2015, I came in order to beckon you to face the fires of this world and walk into them with love as your compass. I came to ask you to turn your diploma into a key to unlock the bravery in your body. The path of service will look different for each of you, but you know what it is. It is the path that scares you. For you, it's law school. For you, it's the urban farm. For you, it's the classroom. For you, it's the corporate firm. But it is the path that is less safe, the path that is not easy. But it's that path that I call you on in this moment. For when you face the fires of this life, when you let your own life flare up, its meaning becomes a beacon that can remake the world. Let me show you what I mean. When I was a college student, the fires raged high. When terrorists crashed planes into the Twin Towers, the television screens flickered an image of a bearded and turbaned enemy. Our nation's new enemy, I realized, looked like my family. And even though we had been in the United States for more than a century, even though the Sikh faith, my faith, like the Muslim faith, believes in oneness, in that instant we were seen as perpetually foreign, as automatically suspect, as potentially terrorist in the eyes of our neighbors. And what did I do in that moment? When a man I called Uncle, Balbir Singh Sodhi, was murdered in Arizona by a man who called himself patriot, I ran. I hid. I went to my bedroom and I locked the door. And I turned to all those books. You heard the schools I went to? I turned to all my books, and what books did I take down for comfort? The text of our generation? Harry Potter. I've always been ashamed to admit this, but I think I pulled down Harry Potter because it was a story about the young people of that world wielding magic to face the dark arts, to face the Dementors when the adults in their life couldn't or wouldn't. It began to occur to me that that kind of magic felt like love. And when I finally put the books down, it was my grandfather's prayer from the Sikh faith that rose to my lips. Tati Vaunalagi Pad Brahm Shanai. It was a prayer that he recited to himself under a rain of fire during World War II. What would it mean for me to be as brave as that? I didn't know. When I was a girl growing up in the Central Valley of California, my friend Bryn, she and I were kindred sisters. We would sit in the parking lot at the edge of the peach orchards and watch the sky grow dark, and we would dream of escaping the dust of the valley. We pledged that we would think of our life as a great quest. Life begins in departure, she once wrote. And so, in the aftermath of September 11th, I departed. I left school, I grabbed my camera, and I crossed the country to film the stories of people aching to survive, stories of people whose voices weren't on the evening news, with the hope that these stories could begin healing for our country. And that moment, that decision, I made not because I was the strongest or smartest, but because I let bravery in somehow. And that moment, my entire life began in that moment. Everything you heard, the activist, the filmmaker, the lawyer, the story, all of that began with a 20-year-old girl willing to face the fires. And since then, those fires have never stopped calling me, and so I want to show you what it sounds like, what it looks like inside. I'm standing in the Sikh temple of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, where a white supremacist walked in and opened fire, blood soaked on the ground. Horrific mass shooting, and I watch Kamal and Harpreet, two sons, gather with the community to pray. They pray for the souls of everyone who died. They pray for the soul of the gunman who took their mother's life. From them, I learned that forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is freedom from hate. Forgiveness is my calling. I'm in a Catholic church in New England where Marcia and Luis have the courage to step out of the shadows and help their neighbors pull back their sleeves to show their scars at the hands of local police officers. From these Latino families, I learned the razor courage required to remake our laws, not as swords for the fallen, but as shields for the most vulnerable. Justice is my calling. In a supermax prison in Connecticut, Pete sees the prisoners he guards as animals, and Misael sees the guards of his prison cell as executioners of a living death. From them, I learned that we can no longer divide the world into victims and aggressors. We are called to remake the institutions and cultures that diminish and divide us. Empathy is my calling. On the shores of Guantanamo Bay, a place where we have incarcerated people with brown bodies for years without end, without trial, I listen to soldiers whose names I cannot offer you, soldiers of our generation, as young as you, tell me that they have inherited wars not of their own making. Ending them is my calling. And in the crumbling neighborhoods of this country, I have seen mothers like Roz wipe tears from their face for their young black sons. And from them, I have learned to look upon the faces who are different, of people who are different from me, Latino, black, LGBT, and see brother, sister, son, daughter. I cannot live if you are dying. I cannot stand by if you are suffering. For we are all wanting to end a world that robs us of human dignity, because we sing in a full-throated voice, all lives matter. All lives matter. It is a simple statement, but if you order your life around this single truth, callings become revolutionary. In the sacred tradition of my faith, the Sikh faith, there's a story about a woman warrior. The story goes like this. There were 40 soldiers in the 17th century who abandoned a great battle. They came back home to the village, and she looked at them and said, "You will not abandon the battle. You will go back into the fires. You will resume the path of love, and you know what? I will lead you." She donned a turban, and she mounted a horse, and she grabbed a sword, and she led them back into the flames. She became the one she was waiting for. Mai Bago was her name. She not only listened to her calling, she became the calling. Students of Saint Benedict, who is calling you in this moment? Whose calling are you meant to become? Even asking these questions requires tremendous courage. Courage is fear that has said its prayers. Bishop Drean Robinson has said to me. Bishop Robinson, he's the first openly gay bishop in Christendom. He has faced threats to his own life in order to fulfill the call to service. Courage is fear that has said its prayers. You know, that's always been true for me. Because in the most fearful moments of my life, when trapped behind bars after a protest, my arm badly twisted by a police officer, when facing the barrel of a gun in an empty park for loving a man outside of my faith, when standing over open caskets of men and women who look like my family, even in the throes of labor that felt like dying, my grandfather's prayer has always come to my lips, spilling out, Tati vanalagi pad bram shanai. It means, the hot winds cannot touch you. You are shielded by the divine. The hot winds cannot touch you. The hot winds cannot touch you. They make a shape in your soul that nothing can touch. I know that space, Bishop Robinson tells me. That, for me, that's a space where God lives, the space that no one can touch. I know that space, Sister Simone Campbell told me. She's the nun of Nuns on the Bus. I know that space, she says. When God was speaking to Moses through the burning bush, I had this image that we are all called to be the burning bush. We are all called to let God inflame up our lives and set our people free. I know that space, says Eric Puri, my friend from law school who returned to New Orleans to rebuild his city. I know that space. It's like the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You see, part of the challenges of interfaith engagement is pronunciation. I hope I got that right. It's the story of those who were cast into the fiery furnace and the fire did not consume them. This is what I've been hearing across times, across traditions. The treasure of this truth, the hot winds cannot consume you. The fire cannot take you when you have love in your heart. No matter what the source, it could be God, but it could be the cosmos. It could be your grandfather's prayer. It could be your mother's love. For that love calls you to courage. That love keeps you on the quest. That love will whisper into your ear, you are brave. You are brave. Class of 2015, you are brave. You have only to believe it and remember it. And for that, my sisters and I collected a few words of advice, since this is a commencement address, to help you remember your bravery. Are you ready for them? Okay, I'm going to go through them. Ready? Okay. Collect a treasure chest of scriptures, that is the poems and songs and stories that give you courage even in your darkest moments, so you know that mine are Guru Nanak, the Buddha, and Harry Potter. Honor justice Sabbaths, that is, set aside days when your phones are out of reach, when you tape over the clocks on the wall, when you live apart from numbers, for in these moments you will find the sacred. You will go to the ocean or the mountains or the church and the temple so that you can listen with the ear of your heart, as Saint Benedict teaches us. Hold vision meetings with your best friend, yes, where you share visions of your best selves with each other. Do not let others colonize your moral imagination. Train with your sword and shield, for no one goes into battle alone. Choose your modern-day sword, the law degree, the film camera, the megaphone, the pen, and practice. You have in the palm of your hand the open internet as a ready space to connect, to create, and to organize, to practice. Embody the life you wish for everyone you love. Weave joy into every day. My best friend Jessica and I, you know what we do when we get together? We play with our pets, we tend to our gardens, we have tea and scones, we go on bike rides, we gaze at the stars, we search for dolphins in the sea, we dance. For the way we make change is just as important as the change we make, not over our dead bodies, but with our vibrant, live spirits. Seek harmony. not balance. So look, the idea of balance has never been useful to me, as if I could cut my life into pieces and measure their worth on a scale. And at the same time, if I were to be honest, anytime I've tried to lean in, I've always fallen. So I choose to stand up straight on this earth. I choose to pour my love into those I love, into my husband and children, into my family and friends, into my work, into the communities I serve, into all of you. I gauge my success by how well I have loved. And that seems to be working just fine. Because I don't want balance. I want harmony. I want my life to flare up. I want my life to sing. I want your lives to sing, and everyone's song is different. Everyone's song is different. Finally, treat each day as a lifetime. When my grandfather was on his deathbed, he faced death fearlessly. He smiled. He surrendered when he died. And I was so angry with him for leaving me without teaching me the secret to his fearlessness, until I realized that his dying was his final lesson. And so each night, I think of the day as a whole lifetime containing joy and gratitude and hardship. I praise it, and then I let it go. I tell myself that I am enough. You are enough. Practicing dying this way, dying fearlessly each night, is helping me practice becoming brave in the day. So, class of 2015, before you accept your diplomas on this stage, there's just one last thing we have to do. These diplomas will honor the achievements of your mind, but bravery is your birthright. And as my college mentor, Tommy Woon, taught me, bravery lives in your body. So I'm going to do something with you. Are you ready? Bravery. Your bravery lives in your throat. Go on and touch your throat. Go on. May your throat know its power to speak even when your voice trembles, for your song is singular and necessary on this earth. Your bravery lies in your eyes. Go on, touch your eyes. May your eyes always see the faces of the people you serve, for they are each a stitch that will bind you to the path of love. Your bravery lies in your ears. Some of you are already there. Touch your ears because you've been listening. May you always listen for your calling, those moments when your deepest longing meets the world's greatest needs. Your bravery lies in your feet. Feel your feet on the ground. May your feet move into places wherever love calls you, even when the flames lick the highest. Your bravery lives in your hands. Open your palms. May your hands know their ability to create out of nothing. Yesh Mayin in the Jewish tradition, for the world needs antidotes that do not yet exist. Your bravery lives in your core. Go ahead, touch your bellies. May every cell in your body know that it contains the selfless love of the long line of women who have birthed you. For knowing this, you will never be alone. Your bravery lives in your breath. Take a deep breath. In every breath you take into your body, as many stars in the known universe, 100 million molecules that have passed through the lungs of every person who has ever lived. Can you believe that? And every person is made up of the same elements cooked in the heart of those ancient stars. So you see, it's not just solid science. It's a soaring spiritual experience, as the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson likes to say. So may you sense the wonder of your oneness with all things. Your bravery lies in the hands of the sisters next to you. Please take one another's hands for a moment. You're brave for doing this with me. This one's important. May you reach for these hands to take strength and make meaning, for courage is only possible in community. Your bennies will deliver the toasts at your wedding. They will hold your newborn child. They will celebrate your swearing in. They will kiss the coffin at your funeral. Hold fast to them. Close your eyes for just a moment and think of their names. Think of the women next to you who you do not want to let go ever. Now open your eyes and don't let them go. I see your tears. That seals it. You're not going to let each other go, I promise. Because your bravery lives in your heart. Place your hands on your chest. You see, your heart is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So yes, may your heart give you the courage to grieve today. Grieve today, for it is an ending. Even as you celebrate today as a new beginning for life, life begins in departure, says my friend Bryn. Bryn Saito is now a celebrated poet. She says hi, by the way. Lately, she's been writing poems about women warriors, which seems just about right, and so I want to leave you with my favorite lines from her poem, Woman Warrior, on how to be free. Go to the ends of the earth, girl. Go like a leopard chasing her longing. Go like the grasses grown and cut and blowing over the valley by autumn fire winds. Go away from the valley, girl. Go to the city. Go like a fighter with gold ore precision, with penny-like pain, with plenty of power, and with women like me, wishing you well, whistling wisdom into your spine. Learn to outlast the flame. Class of 2015, let your life flare up. Let your life sing. And that love will outlast the highest flames. That love will light a new way for us all. Thank you, and congratulations.